All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Fall Therapeutic Yoga. And for the next 2 weeks, we are doing legs and feet and grounding. In yoga philosophy, this is called apana, downward flow of energy. So let's just find our spot. You can use a yoga mat if you like, or just the floor. I'm just using my floor today. Bend your knees and feel your legs and feet. Just see your knees maybe tracking over the second toes. Inhale, straighten your legs and maybe pull up on the kneecaps if that's comfortable. Just notice how that feels if you've got one knee that's a little wonky. And exhale, bend your knees. Just tracking over those second toes, look down at your feet, feel the bottoms of your feet. And inhale, pull your kneecaps up. Just notice if one has a little harder time engaging, and maybe that's the side that you have a bit more pain in or feels a little weaker. Just keep this going your own timing. And adding the breath, inhale, expanding. Exhale, contracting. And I'm nodding the head up and down just to add on to this experience. Extending that exhale, maybe adding a ha sound. Inhale, expanding the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in. Now adding the arms. Inhale, arms coming up to the sides. And exhale, let's bring the hands through the center and feel that central channel from the top of the head to the base of the spine, all the way down the legs to the feet. Do this in your own timing. Inhale, radiating outward like the sun. If you've got any pain in your neck and shoulders, maybe spreading the fingers apart. And exhale through the center, bend the knees, feel the feet, bow the head to the heart, look down, feel the bottoms of the feet. Keep this going, adding the breath. Now, if you can do the exhale through the nose, closing the mouth, moving into Ujjai Pranayama, constricting the throat, making that oceanic sound like a conch shell. Just notice your breath today. Is it long and smooth? Is it short and rough? Is it somewhere in between? Is your inhale feeling freer than your exhale, or your exhale freer than your inhale? Notice that. Notice the pauses between the inhale and the exhale. Can you lengthen those pauses a little bit more? Maybe pausing 1 to 2 seconds at each end of the breath. And if these arms going up and down are not working for you, you can alternatively move the arms to the sides like this. Inhale, open, exhale, contract. So feel an expression of this pose. that works for you. We're going to just do one more, and if it works for you, bringing the arms up and bringing the feet together. Could put a block between your legs if you like. And staying here, maybe coming up onto the toes. Just notice how that feels in your feet. And then exhale, coming down. Now, if your balance is difficult as you do this, you can hold on to something and just use one arm. You can also face the wall. Looks like you guys are all doing well, but you can also face the wall, and that can help you with the balance. You can also use a belt and tie your ankles together. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to stay in full Tadasana on the toes, if that works for you. Otherwise, come down on the heels. And you can look down about 6 feet in front of you. And coming down, hands at the heart. Inhale, arms to the sides. We're going to add an Om now. Bend the knees as you exhale, or add an Om. Om. Inhale. Visualize the sun radiating out of the heart. Inhale, expanding. Make an intention today. Maybe something to do with grounding, becoming more present. Or it might be a ache or pain that you'd like to be free of. Or it might be something for someone else, your community. Could be an animal. Could be for the world. This is a sankalpa. All right. Okay, so going into the legs a little bit, we're going to head to the wall, or you can use a chair as well. And you're going to bring one foot back and the other forward. And you're going to straighten your legs. You can have your hands on a chair, or I've got a lead chair I'm using. Or you can have your hands on the wall like this. Now I want you to try to bring that back foot so it's parallel to the front. And notice your back calf. And then as you exhale, can you bend your front knee and go a little bit deeper into that stretch? You might need to step forward a little bit to do that. and release. Inhale. Exhale, bend. And you can release the head forward a little bit if you like. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, bend. So we're just getting into that calf. I'm going to do it at the wall. Inhale, extend. It's very simple. Some of you haven't practiced much in a bit, so we're going to take it a little slow today. Doing that around 3 to 4 times. So when you're ready, just stay in the pose, and you might go a little bit more deeply, coming closer to the wall. You could put your forearms on the wall, forehead on the wall. And bend the back knee. As you exhale, bend that back knee. And then inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, bend the back knee, the back leg. Inhale, extend. Notice how that feels on the bottom of the foot. The more you roll, as you bend that back knee, I'm rolling right onto my toes. And then I'm straightening. And then maybe staying in the full pose and just stretching here. You might feel this into your ankle, into your foot. And switching sides. Okay, so just starting simply, hands on the wall or on a ledge or on a chair, just simple. So bend that front knee. Exhale, release. I'm going to do the inhale, bend. Actually, I think that makes a bit more sense. Inhale, bend that front knee. Exhale, straighten. Could come forward a little bit too, deepen the stretch. Feel stretch in that back leg. If you don't, widen the stance. Look at your back foot and try to make it parallel to the front. So those of you who have done in-person classes with me, you know I'd be walking around the room, making your feet parallel. Okay, now when you're ready, take it more deeply, maybe forearms on the wall, maybe head on the wall, leaning forward. Exhale, bend the back knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the back knee. Inhale, straighten. Maybe you can take the foot further back. And notice if one foot and leg is different than the other. And stay in the pose, stay in the stretch. Keep the front knee bent if you can. And when you're ready, just coming out of it and just go into a spinal stretch. Your hands can be on a wall or on a chair. Just bring your hips side to side. Stretching out the back. Bend the knees. Doing one side of the back at a time, also stretching the legs one at a time. And when you feel ready, stepping forward, we're going to go into one side at forward bend. So for this one, if you do have a wall available, you can have your heel at the wall, your other foot forward. And that back heel, again, you can turn it out a lot according to your need, but if you can, turn it in more so that you're using the calf muscle a bit more. Inhale, bringing your arms up front or sides. And exhale, stretching forward. Now your hands could go to a chair. They could go to blocks. You could bend that front knee, or some of you are going to come to the ground. Inhale, arms in line with your ears coming up. Exhale, release. Now, if you have a lower back problem when you're coming up, bend that front knee to take the load off, and do have a chair in front to take the load off your back. Inhale, stretching one leg at a time, Uttanasana, inhale up. Exhale, extend. This is a classical pose. We can modify with a chair, with a wall, with blocks. We can bend that front knee. Inhale, arms in line with your ears or to the sides. To the sides is easier for most people. Exhale, arms coming down. So you can remove the arms altogether as well. You can just move the body and forget about the arms. The arms are weights. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, extending forward. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release. Do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This next time we're going to stay in the pose. Again, use a wall or a chair or blocks if you like. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, forward bend, draw the belly in. Now in the stay, we're going to move a little bit. Inhale, lengthen the chest up. It's called sthiti. And try to get the belly on the thigh. Exhale, release forward. You can do this with your hands on a chair instead, or hands on blocks. Just keep this going your own timing. Every time you lengthen up, try to get your belly forward on your thigh, and you can actually draw your ribs forward a bit to help with that. And then exhale forward. When you're ready, stay in the pose. You might even make your back foot parallel now to the front if you can. This also works on balance, so be careful. And just breathe in and out as you stay here in the full pose. If you have blood pressure issues, inhale, bring your foot forward, exhale, stay. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, stay. Inhale all the way up. If you have some blood pressure issues, I know some of you do, just be careful. You might be feeling a little bit dizzy now. You might not want to come all the way down. You might want to come just halfway down, and you might want to leave your head up. So when you're coming down, for example, I'll show on this side, the other side. When you come down, you might do something like this, leave your head above your heart. So just watch for that if you get out of breath, or you start feeling red in the face, or any of those kinds of things. Just adjust where your head is. It's really important. Okay, let's do the other side. So I'm going to bring my left heel to my right. I'm going to bring my right foot forward. We tend to start on the left side. You can start on your easier side and then switch sides. I'm angling my back foot slightly in. And I'm using the wall for support, but also for awareness of my back foot. Same thing on this side. Inhale, we're going to repeat about 4 times up and down. Inhale. Exhale, extend way forward. Come to your wall, your chair, your blocks, or to the floor. You can bend that front knee as well to bring the floor to you. Inhale, coming up, arms in line with your ears. Exhale, starting position. Keep this going your own timing. Notice the stretch in the back of the leg, the hamstrings, 3 hamstrings. So we warmed up the foot, the ankle, the calf. Now we're getting into the hamstrings a bit more, as well as the lower back. In your own timing, inhale up, exhale forward. You can try pulling up on that kneecap if you like, if you don't have to bend the front knee. And notice if one side is tighter than the other, if that's also your weaker side. After you've done it around 4 times, you're going to stay in the pose. So you exhale, try to exhale from the bottom up, pelvic floor all the way to the belly button. And in your stay, you can move a little bit, do that stitty inhale, lengthen the spine, bring your head up, and bring your belly forward on your thigh, and exhale, forward bend. This helps stretch the lower back as well as the leg. Each time, hopefully, you're going a little bit more deeply into the pose. And again, feel free to draw your rib cage up so you can get it higher towards your knee as you come forward. Now when you're ready, just going to step forward, inhale, exhale, stay, Ukatasana. Inhale, coming halfway up, bend your knees. Exhale, stay, Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale, full Samastiti. Exhale, release. You might feel dizzy for a moment. Just take a moment to recalibrate. And notice how you feel. So this is less than 30 minutes into your practice. You're probably starting to feel your feet. If you have one leg or foot that doesn't work as well as the other, you might be feeling it kind of firing at this point. You might feel the muscles in that hip working. Try to pull up on the thighs again and just notice if you can engage the legs using the thighs, pull up those knees if that feels okay. Notice how that feels. And then exhale, release, bend the knees. Just do what we did at the beginning. Notice how it feels a bit different now. Now pulling up on those thighs, pulling up on the knees. Exhale, release. You might be able to add the toes. Inhale, pull up on the thighs and lift the toes up. Now you could put your big toes down. This is an Iyengar yoga trick. And then exhale, release those toes. Inhale, pull everything up. You can even lift those toes. And exhale, release. Last time. And release. Let's go into full Utanasana. This is for grounding. We're going to start with it with the back at the wall, especially for those of you with some lower back pain. This might be a better choice for you. So putting your buttocks at the wall, I think I'm going to remove my sweater. It is fall here. It's starting to get a little chilly, but I think I'm warm enough. You might be able to take some layers off over there, wherever you are around the world. So buttocks on the wall. Inhale, arms coming up in front of you. Now I'm bringing my arms all the way to the wall behind me, but you don't have to. It depends on your shoulders. Exhale, coming forward and bring your hands to the wall at your hips just to begin with. Let's just come halfway down. You could bend the knees if you like, if that feels better. That's your exhale. Inhale, move your arms in line with your ears and come up. Pull up on those thighs. Exhale, release. It's just halfway down to begin with, an Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale. Exhale, forward. I'm placing my hands at the wall. I'm rounding my spine right now. Now I'm going to extend it. Inhale, lengthen the spine. I'm arching it now. You'll feel the legs more as you do that. Exhale, release. So we're staying one breath now. Inhale, arms in line with the ears, coming up. Exhale, release. If the arms are too much for your back, just do this without the arms. So you can just come forward and have the hands at the wall the whole time. Just go up and down without the arms, okay? Inhale, coming up. We're going to do this 2 more times. Exhale, halfway forward, draw the belly in. You're rounding the spine now. You might bend the knees a bit for more support. Inhale, lengthen the spine and arch it if you can. Hands are at hip height at the wall. You might need to use your fingertips if your arms are a bit shorter. Exhale, release, draw the belly in. You're going to round a little bit. Inhale, arms in line with the ears coming up. Exhale, Samastiti, starting position. Last time, inhale. Exhale, halfway forward. Hands at the wall, hip height. Inhale, extend long. Arch the spine. You can even look up. That feels good. Exhale, draw the belly in. Round the spine a little bit. Inhale, arms in line with the ears. Exhale, release. We're going to go all the way down now. Now you can do this without the wall if you prefer, or stay with your buttocks at the wall to experience it. You can try it both ways, your choice. Inhale, the wall gives the back more support. Exhale, it also can clean up your technique because the wall acts as a teacher, especially without me there. You know where your back body is. Now, when you come down, if you can't make it, you can have a chair, you can have blocks, you can bend the knees. That's the easiest way to do this. If it's okay for your blood pressure, release the head down. And just stay here. We're just going to relax a little bit into this now. Inhale, arch up and lengthen. You could put your hands on the front of your legs if you like. It could be on blocks. You could even step up a bit. Try to really lengthen the spine and then exhale, slide down. Or just come onto your fingertips as you inhale and exhale in that sthiti. You can bring your rib cage forward on the thighs. Try to lengthen the lower back. And I can really feel that. It decompresses it. Exhale, release. And when you feel like you've got that nice stretch in the lower back now, Let the head go if you can. If you've got some blood pressure issues, maybe just keep your head up and then occasionally let it down a little bit. So just stay a little higher. If not, come all the way forward. It's a great preparation for seated Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Focus on your exhale. The inhale will be a little bit labored. Try to lengthen that exhale. And when you're ready, slowly come up. So a big change in blood pressure, like deep sea diving. My teacher used to say, come halfway up, inhale. I'm bending my knees too here to release my back. Exhale, stay. Inhale, I've got my hands on my thighs, so no weight of the arms as I come up. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, just stay here and rest for a moment. Feel the back body on the wall. How often do we have awareness of our back body? And for those of you with scoliosis, I know a couple of you are like me, you might notice that one side kind of, you can feel it more on the wall than the other. Just notice that. And when you're ready, coming away from the wall, just bend the knees, hands on the wall, and stand on your feet again. And notice how you feel. And notice your feet. Can you feel your feet a bit more, especially maybe that one leg or foot that you tend not to be able to feel as much? That might be related to a hip issue, a lower back issue, or even a neck and shoulder issue. It might be translating all the way into one of your feet. So I always know I'm on the right track in my practice when I can feel the prana or the energy flowing in my less resource side. It's like, okay, it woke up, things are moving. All right, so that could be your practice and we would call it a day. However, we're going to keep going. We're going to move into some balancing poses. We've just kind of gently warmed you up this morning in case you haven't moved much for a couple of months while I've been on vacation. Your feet together if that's comfortable. And we're going to do some leg movements. These are also really great for the hips, for strengthening the hips, which is our focus in 2 weeks from now. But we're going to focus on the legs and feet. Inhale, arms coming up to the front. Nod the chin in, Jalandhara Bandha if you can. Exhale, bring one leg up. Now we're going to start with a bent knee, just to make it a little bit easier as your hands come to your hips. And inhale, back to the center. And exhale, other side. Now try to draw that leg up using the core from the pelvic floor up, the Mula Bandha, all the way to the base of the belly button. Feel that engaging. Inhale, feel both feet. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, you can use a straight leg. So I'm pointing my toe as I come up because I have to flex it as I come down, and you might get a little cramp in your thigh. I'm always surprised when that happens, so be prepared. If it's not comfortable, keep the leg bent. Now try not to lean back or forward, be right in the center. If neither of these are working for you, you can do this using a countertop or at home, okay, or a wall. So feel free to do that. And do this in your own timing. You can do it with me if you like. So it's really working those thigh muscles, quads, but it's working on balancing on one leg at a time. We're doing around 6 rounds. You can stay a little longer if you want. Challenge yourself. You can even stay a breath. And just finishing up your last round. Really stand up on that leg that you're standing on. Really press that foot into the ground and lengthen up. So press down and then up. All right. And release. All right. So we're going to go to the side now. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale as the hands come down. One leg goes to the side. And your hands can kind of just go towards the center. Inhale, coming up. Or you can leave your hands on either sides of your hips. Try to keep standing straight up, so don't bend as you do this. Try to stand straight up for this one. And this is definitely getting into the hips, so don't go to the side like this as I do sometimes. This one, try to stay straight up. So it's really working the glute medius, probably minimus a bit too, those deeper glute muscles, stabilizing muscles for the legs. And again, you could have a chair, you could hold on to the back of a chair or a countertop as you do this for balance. Oops. And after you've done around 6 rounds, just take a break. And notice if one side is a bit different than the other, right? Can you really, when you really stand on that one leg, notice if one leg is different than the other. Exhale, release to the center. So we're working asymmetrically, one side at a time, and this can help with those imbalances. So for those of you who have an iPhone, under the heart app that looks at your health, it actually measures asymmetries in walking. It can tell you the percentage that you're not balanced in your walking. And you'll probably notice if you do these kinds of exercises that ratio improves. You want it to be as close to 0 as possible. We're going to go to the back now. Again, you could use the wall for balance. Inhale, arms coming straight up in front of you. Exhale, I'm going to start simply bringing the hands to the hips and bringing the foot back. And if you can, lean forward a little bit or a lot. Now you could have your hands on a chair or on a wall, or you could just go back a little bit like I'm doing right now and just see how far you can go. Try to keep those hips even. So if you're tight in one hip, you'll tend to pop up and open the hip up. Try to avoid that. Keep both hips facing forward. So again, this is strengthening the legs, the hips. It's working into the lower back as well, and definitely working core strength. As we move away from our center, you have to activate the core. Now, if you want to make this a little tougher, you can go into a full warrior three with the palms together. You could have a wall behind you that you bring your foot to. That can be kind of fun. And just finishing up your last round, whatever that is. And release, samastiti. That one raised my heart rate a little bit. I don't know about you, so just take a little breath, rest, come back to balance. Okay, we're going to do some Ukatasana. This is very strengthening for the legs and the hips. You could use a block between your legs. I'm kind of prop free today. I'm going to put my back at the wall to begin with and start like this. My feet away from the wall again. So inhale, I'm going to bring my arms up. Exhale, I'm going to sit down as I slide my hips down the wall. And sit as if I'm in a chair, Ukatasana. Inhale, arms coming up and slide up. Exhale, starting position. So that's one choice, just up and down. If you want to make it harder, you feel ready at this point in the practice. Exhale, you can stay. It's just harder in a different way. You can just stay here and strengthen your thighs, your hips, by moving your arms up and down and staying with your legs bent. And my knees and hips aren't exactly right angles, but approximately. You can be less, you go not as low, it can be easier on the legs. Otherwise, just slide up and down and you can just go to your place. So you could go down just a little bit. And inhale up. So that's the easier version. Or you can stay. Now, as I do this, when I exhale, I'm trying to draw my belly in and feel my lower back go into the wall. Inhale is a back arch. Exhale, feeling the gut draw in from the pelvic floor up. Really feel those feet working. And when you've had enough, straighten your legs and gradually come forward into a forward bend. Whatever your forward bend is, again, blood pressure issues, maybe keep your head up. Otherwise, release the head forward, bring your rib cage forward on your thighs. And when you're ready, gradually coming up. And push away from the wall, find your samsthiti. And notice how you feel. Again, can you feel your legs and feet a little bit more than you could before? Okay, so we're going to start transitioning down. I'd like to actually get a chair. I hadn't planned on this, but I think I'm going to do this because of the check-in. Some of you inspired me to do some foot stretches. So grab your chair. I'm going to get mine too. And put your chair, if you can, against a wall so it's more secure. I'm going to show right here so you can see me better, but if you have the option of having a wall behind you, it just gives a bit more security. You can sit on a pillow or a block to have a little bit more height if your legs are long. You can do that. I'm trying to be prop free today, so here we go. So we're just going to do some stretches of the feet, and it's a little easier to do this in a chair. So I want you to bring one foot up. Just notice if this is hurting your hip at all, just cross the foot in a way that it doesn't hurt your hip. So if you have your foot closer to your opposite foot, usually that doesn't hurt the knee. Some of you might be able to do that right angle, but just be careful it's not hurting your knee, okay? Now, if you can, I'm gonna come a little closer so you can really see this. I might switch cameras for this one, actually. This is gonna be interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna switch cameras for this. I think you'll see it better. Okay, let's see. I think you'll see this better with my other camera. Okay, so yeah, you'll be able to see my feet much better. Okay, so if you can put your fingers in between your toes. This is a great way to stretch the feet. I don't know if any of you use toe stretchers, but this is the yoga way of doing it. I should show it this way. You can see me better, yes. It's interesting doing this one on camera. Okay, and you're just gonna flip your foot around like that and get into your ankle. So it's a bit of a pre-yoga exercise, not an official pose. Can add some breath awareness. Just noticing the breath going in and out as you do this without controlling it. And we're going to switch sides. Put this up just a touch. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. All right, so this is my harder side, so we'll see how I do here. So again, putting your fingers between your toes. And you might have one side harder than the other. That's normal. It's my hard side, and I'm like, oh, that's much harder. Okay, and it's kind of flipping your foot around, doing that with some breath awareness. You can always do this sitting on the floor, but I think we tried that last term, but it didn't work out so well, so I thought I'd try it on the chair today. It's good for the ankle, good for the foot. And let's do one more round each side. Second time should be easier. Can change directions of your circle too. And other side. Yeah, it's so interesting to me how when you have one side that, there's problems wherever, the shoulder or the hip or the lower back, it shows up usually in tightness in this foot that is connected to that side. So just be aware of that if that's true for you. Not always, I'm sure, but often I find that. It's a great one to do with that castor oil on your foot that I mentioned during the check-in. You can do this in the bath as well. All right, and when you're done, release that. And I'm going to switch my camera back. We're just going to do a forward bend from here. So just do a forward bend in your chair. And perhaps just stay here. If your chair is at a wall, you might be able to stretch your legs long. So be careful you don't fall off the chair. But you might be able to stretch your legs and do a Paschimottanasana. And even hold on to those feet. So see if you can do that. And gradually coming up. Since we have the chair here, I'm going to do one more leg stretch before we get down to the ground. So if you can, again, have your chair at the wall. I want you to bring one foot onto the chair. Your back foot as parallel as possible to the front, but you can turn it out for support. And can you flex your toes towards your nose? And can you start to come forward and bring your hands onto the chair? Now you could put blocks on the chair to support this. You could come closer to the back and put your hands on the wall as well and do it that way. That's a lovely way to do it. And that can really stretch your back nice and long. So we're getting into a deep leg stretch now. I'm going to go to the seat of the chair. I do this at park benches when I'm out running around in a city, which I'm not doing so much these days, but before when I would go for walks and runs in parks, you would find me doing this at park benches. You can inhale, point the toes and look up. Exhale, flex the toes towards the nose. For those of you with a bit of scoliosis, you can try bringing your body to one side and just see how that feels. You'll know which side. Try one side then the other. Your body will tell you which side. And when you're ready, coming up, just be careful. It's a bit of a balance trick and switching sides. So again, easier version, come with your foot closer to the back of the chair, your hands on the wall, and just Go up and down from there. Inhale, look up, exhale, forward. If you can, take it further forward, hands onto blocks on the chair or on the seat of the chair. And you can inhale, point the toes, stretch the front of the foot, and exhale, toes towards your nose, coming back. Or just stay. And again, if you've got scoliosis, you can try coming to one side or the other. And see how that feels in your back, your hip, your leg. And untwist your spine. When you're ready, coming out of the pose very carefully. It's a big stretch that goes into the lower back as well. If you've got compression in your lower back, you might feel some relief. We're going to do a forward bend now from here. You hold the back of the chair like this, or the seat of the chair. Or you can go into full Ukatasana, your choice. They're quite different. I can do full Ukatasana, but I get a different stretch in each of these positions. I'm going to choose the first one today. And you can bring the hips side to side if you like. Again, that one can be good for those of you with scoliosis, for compression in the lower back, for tightness under the armpits. And when you're ready, come up. And we are going to lie on the floor. So I'm going to angle my camera a little bit more down. Yeah. I've got that figured out. Yes, that's better. All right, so lie on the floor. You might want to use a mat or a blanket or something. I'm still pretending it's summer, but I'm going to put my sweater on. And if you have a belt, if you could grab your yoga belt, which I'm also going to do. Let's get my belt. Okay. All right. So. Okay, you guys can see me okay, I hope. All right, so just lying down, and I'm going to put my feet at the wall. You guys can see all of me okay? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay, thank you. You can see everything? Okay. My little box makes it a bit hard. Yeah, you can see my arms, everything. Okay? Yes? Okay, so lying down, Tadaka Mudra. Stretch the whole body. Interlock the fingers. Now, if your lower back is hurting you, bend your knees. Just take a few breaths in this pose, Tadaka Mudra. This is a classical pose. As you exhale, contract from the pelvic floor up. Bring your lower back into the floor. Inhale, breathe from the chest to the belly if you can. Exhale, breathe from the belly to the chest. So exhale, draw the belly in from the pelvic floor up and the chest will fall. the lower back will go into the floor. So you inhale, the back will arch away from the floor. You can inhale, expand the chest, then expand the belly. Exhale, pelvic floor contracts, lower belly, belly button in, and the chest falls. So exhaling from the belly to the chest. Do that a few more times. Inhale, chest to belly, exhale, belly to chest. Adjust the arms anywhere that's comfortable. You can have your arms at the side, overhead, anywhere that works for your arms. Okay, when you're ready, bring your arms down. We're going to move our legs. So you're going to inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, you're going to bring one leg up at a time. Now, if you want to make this a little more challenging, you can point your toes and flex your feet as you come up. So we did this standing not too long ago. So if we weren't able to point both feet and flex both feet. It's also a core exercise. Now again, this is too much on your lower back. Bend your knees and just do one leg at a time with the other leg bent. Okay? Pointing and flexing those feet. This is said to be helpful for the knees, the ankles, feet. It's also a dynamic stretch for the hamstrings, and it's working the core. The slower you go, the harder it is. It's definitely working the core a lot more. We're going to add on. So you're going to exhale. You're going to draw one leg in with a bent knee as your hands come down. Inhale, extend the leg up as your arms come up. Exhale, bring that foot down, hands beside your hips. And inhale, extend the legs out to meet each other. We're going to do the other side. Exhale, draw that leg in, using your core as the hands come to the hips. Inhale, extend the leg up. Exhale, draw the foot down. You can make it harder by trying to touch those toes to the ground a little ahead of you. And inhale, extend. Exhale, draw the leg in. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, draw the toe down to touch the ground. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw the foot in. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, touching down. And inhale, extending up. If you want, you can do this with both legs to make it a little harder. Exhale, draw both legs in. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, touching down. Again, you can make it harder with toes further forward. Inhale, extend. So this is leg work, core work, and definitely lower back work. Also working those feet, ankles, by pointing and flexing the toes, promoting circulation, through a semi-inversion as well as movement. Get confused with the breath. Always as you draw to the center, you exhale. So when you engage that core, you're exhaling. You inhale as you extend away from the core, from the center. And just finishing up whatever version you've done. And take a rest. You might lie just with your legs straight, or you might want to bend your knees and angle your knees in. That might feel better for your lower back. Okay. So we're going to move into some leg stretches now. This is going to be a little bit more relaxing, less muscular work. I'm putting one foot at the wall again, but you can bend that leg. I'm starting with stretching the left leg. So I'm going to put my belt. I've made a loop for my belt, but you can hold the belt any way you like, really. If you don't have a belt, you can use a scarf or a towel as well. That can work. One of those TerraBands can work as well. And stretch, if you can, the other leg straight, but it can be bent. Just get a bit more stretch into that hip. And we're going to point and flex the foot. Inhale, point the toes. Exhale, flex the toes towards the nose as we bring the foot towards the face. Try to keep that hip down. And we're going to keep the legs straight. We've worked the legs a lot, so I'm going to just see if you can keep that leg stretch straight. If not, you can bend the knee as you come up if that feels better for you to bend that knee. So for those of you with knee issues, it might feel better to work with that tracking of the knee and bend the knee and do a supine lunge. Otherwise, keep the legs straight. And I am using a bit of pressure with my hands pulling. Nicapada Patangustasana, and this is a supta version, supine version. So we prepared for the standing leg lifts we did. We could have actually gone into the full pose. If you want to stay in the pose now, you can just stay here using the belt, or for those of you who want to do the classical, you can hold that big toe, but just make sure that your shoulder's not being compromised and your other hip is on the ground. So choose your medicine. I actually prefer the belt. I get more out of it. I can do the classical, but I get more out of this. And if you want, you can add on exhale, lifting the head up. Now be careful, if you've got a neck issue, this might be too much, but it is very strengthening for the neck flexors, if you can do it. And it also stimulates the thyroid by compressing the neck, the throat rather. So do that on exhale, and you can add a hold after exhale if you like. And this is our peak pose today. A lot of preparation for this. When you're ready, you're going to switch sides. Notice if one leg is different than the other, that's completely normal. Your hamstrings might feel a little bit different, the back of your legs. You can play with bending the knee as you exhale, inhale, extending, or inhale, pointing the toes, exhale, flexing the toes towards your nose, keeping the legs straight and seeing how far you can stretch back. Nicapada Patangustasana. Stretching one leg at a time. One foot at a time. And if you feel ready, you could, as you exhale, stay in the pose and bring your head up. Be careful if you have neck shoulder issues, this might be too much. So if you have pain in your neck and shoulders, I would avoid this strength work that we're doing right now for the neck flexors, for the throat area. Stimulating the thyroid. And perhaps deepening the stretch in the leg. Try to keep that hip rooting down. There will be a tendency to twist. Keep the hip rooting down the outside of the hip on the floor. Keep the leg straight if you can. And when you're ready, bring both legs into your belt. And bring your feet back to where you can. As you exhale, inhale, you can bring your legs forward a little bit, point your toes, and exhale, rocking back. This can feel very nice on the lower back for those of you with lower back issues. You could bring the hips off the ground as you come back, or if you want to focus more on the legs, keep your hips on the ground, your lower back on the ground. See if you can get into those hamstrings a bit more that way. So your choice is just a different effect. Just make a choice, what part of your body you want to work. So yeah, if you keep the lower back down, it's a lot harder work on the legs. You might be ready to stay in this pose. Again, you could hold your big toes if you prefer. So this is Patangustasana, not the Ekapada version. I was trying to remember, how do you do it? Not Ekapada. Oh yeah, there it is. And I like to hold the little toe side of the foot myself. Get a deeper stretch still. There are days that that is not possible, but you can always try that. And just for fun, if you like, you can open your legs up. This is if you're not using the belt. And then exhale, center. You can do this without the belt, just holding the outsides of the legs also. If you want to try. Getting into the groin a little bit. Again, just staying. And we're ready for our relaxation. You can do legs up the wall. You can do legs up the chair. You can do legs straight. You can put your feet at the wall so that your hips stay very stable. If you've got a asymmetry in your hips, this can feel a lot more comfortable than letting your feet roll out. You could also, because you've done so much leg work today, you could decide to put your legs up the wall. So I'm going to do that myself. So you can tie your thighs or your ankles. Do it once you're up there or before you go in. And just stay there and rest. If you like adding a mantra, inhale, let, exhale, go. If you want to use Sanskrit, inhale, Om, exhale, Namo. Say this to yourself. As you naturally inhale and exhale, don't lengthen the breath anymore. Just let the breath breathe you. How could you make yourself just 1% more comfortable? If you need to adjust anything, do that. When you're ready, start to increase the length of your breath. Bend your knees. Turning to one side. To a seated position, close either on the floor or in a chair. Use any props you need to feel comfortable in this position. Hands at the heart, ending with Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace. Namaste. Namaskaram.